If you do not properly air out your waders, your boots, or your shoes, it's going to be a breeding ground for bacteria, and you're going to be called Stinky Steve or Stinky Ken. Since most waders today are breathable, you think that it's not going to be an issue, but you're wrong. Your feet are underwater, you could be there all day, your socks are heating your feet up. If you're like me, sometimes my feet just sweat. And then I got these bad boys. I'm telling you, if I even go down and get the mail wearing these, my feet will sweat. And then over time, if you don't dry them out, it's going to be completely stinky. So this is how I air out my waders, my boots, and even my shoes. You may have your own routine, and that's good, but the number one thing is you got to make sure they're dry. If you put them away even damp, your feet sweat, it's just going to be a breeding ground. So this is my setup for the waders. I hang them up where it's kind of a little bit of airflow. It doesn't have to be too intense, but you got to have air flowing. And you really don't have to have air flowing, but if you put them in a closet, you're going to open the closet up, it's going to smell like the stream. But it's just a hanger, and you hang it up, okay? Another thing I have is this tube thing. It's, I don't know, maybe 18 inches by 13 inches or something. And I'll set that underneath the waders, so when the waders, it's going to drip into the tub. Not that big a deal. One thing you want to avoid is drying your equipment out in the sunlight. It's okay for a little bit, but over time, the UV light will break down your material, and your equipment's not going to last as long. And every once in a while, even a long day on the river, you might want to think about turning your waders inside out. If I can get it out. This is going to help you just air everything out a lot nicer. Something that you may find too, once you do turn these inside out, there's going to be a lot of sand, fine grit that's going to get in there. And that's going to, just help get rid of that stuff. And then I got a can of Lysol. Once the waders are inside out, I'll give them a spray. My muck boots, definitely spraying that. My work shoes, I like to cycle my work shoes every other day, so I'll have 2 pairs. And I'll definitely take the soles out and spray it with the Lysol. So your wading boots are going to get completely soaked, there's no question. And with the material they're made out of, it's going to take multiple days for those to properly dry out. So you got to bump the heat level up. I will put mine in the sunlight. I'll turn them upside down so the felts are facing up. If you got the rubber soles, then that's, I never really dealt with that, so I can't really tell you. Definitely a boot heater would work. It's probably something everyone should invest in. They're only like $30 or something. I have no idea why I've never bought it. Okay, another thing I heard about too was Christmas lights. You stuff the Christmas lights in your boots, you plug them in, and the slow heat's going to help you dry out your boots. I've never done that before, but I heard of people doing it. It works good. You might want to give that a shot. Newspapers, I heard of people stuffing in newspapers in their boots, and that's going to draw the moisture into the paper. Again, I have not tried that. My biggest pet peeve I have is having my stuff scattered everywhere and not knowing where stuff's at, and you're trying to already, your time's limited to fish, so now you're trying to find your stuff. Completely goofy, okay? So I fish with a sling pack, and I just sling it up over the hook and with my waders. So I know everything I need to have in my sling pack. All 3 of my state licenses are in that thing. My reels, my flies, and then the tub. The tub that I told you to put underneath your waders, this is where I'll store my wading boots, obviously, and I also store my different equipment that I'll use for the fishing, okay? I'll also put the rod. I'll break it down. You put it in a tube, and you can. I'll put it in here. And the key is to know where everything's at, because we got limited time, and we don't need to be fooling around trying to find stuff. You keep it in this one location.